Hello. I thought that it was time that we here at Graduate Coach looked at what is happening in some degree in depth to the graduate job market, especially with all this stuff in the papers about Brexit and gloom and doom. And whilst I was pondering on what we really think is happening out there, I came across an incredible article in the Times by a chap who is the president of one of the leading economic consultancies in the UK called CEBR. Now, this chap, Douglas McWilliams, in 2015 wrote this book called The Flat White Economy. And in actual fact, the article in the Times, which was at the beginning of April of this year, was about his thoughts now 4 years after he had first published the book. The name Flat White Economy was coined by him and has become common usage in some circles, because it describes the fact that in many of the more digital parts of London, like Silicon Roundabout by Old Street, that the consumption of flat white coffees has gone through the roof. And so he termed the expression the flat white economy. Now, his point 4 years after he had first come up with this insight was in fact how large the digital economy is to London and in fact Britain, and how in fact policymakers, government and so on and so forth are not really thinking about it or taking account of it. Very good article. We talked to him, and I subsequently bought the book, and I've read all of the articles that he has had published now around the world on the same phenomenon. And he says his basic thesis from the book, published in 2015, which he's still holding to, is that 60% of all jobs by 2025 will be digital. And he evidences lots of different data sources for that. Now, we have noticed here in Little Graduate Coach since the beginning of the year, more than half of all the graduates that we've got jobs for, in fact probably about 70%, have had some digital component. And we're not just talking about coders, where we're talking about people working on websites, account managers, analysts, digital marketing jobs and so on and so forth. But what we determined to do, and we've now been running on a daily basis since the beginning of April, is, well, what is actually the state of the graduate job market? Not the total job market, but the graduate job market. Now, so what we've done, every day we go into indeed.co.uk, one of the biggest UK job sites, and we put in a general search for all graduate jobs. And on any given day, Indeed has about 25,000 of them being advertised. Now, to our astonishment, if you just preface the word graduate job and you put graduate IT job, graduate tech job, or graduate digital job, or digital graduate, tech graduate, or whatever, do you know, on any given day, somewhere between 60 and 65% of all graduate jobs being advertised nowadays involve some digital component. So I've been talking to Douglas and the team at CEBR, and of course, as he said to me, well, it's quite simple, Chris. The scale and size of the online marketplace in Britain is far larger than any other marketplace in the world, and entire industries like the marketing industry are now really digital. So he said to him, it's not surprising that the graduate job market is now already over 60% digital. So my thought and my advice to any parent or any student or graduate out there is thinking about what type of job that you want to do. It doesn't matter whether you want an analyst job, an account manager job, even obviously there's coder jobs. But now more than ever, the job that you should be preparing for is a job which will have inevitably a digital component to it. You know, if you're joining a retailer now, you don't want to join the retail side of the business, do you? You want to be in the online. If you're in a bank, you want to be doing digital apps. You don't want to be working in a bank branch. So think of this. Yes, we've got Brexit, but actually the graduate job market, it's very competitive, but it is very bright, and increasingly 2/3 of the jobs, 65-66%, are already digital. So the digital future, which he's positing is going to get here by 2025, as far as graduate jobs are concerned, it's already here. And that's my thought to leave you with today. If you remember, if you're old enough to remember when all those orange ad campaigns came out, so I've ended the article, which you can read. In actual fact, the future is bright because the future is digital.